It's Scott Garcia, Thursday night into Friday, right here on KISS. It's the UKG Show. I bring you all the big releases in the world of UK Garage, and we are celebrating tonight 10 years of Southpoint recordings, and I have KXVU in the studio with me. KXVU, thanks so much for coming through, man.
No, thank you so much for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for the invite, and immediately thanks for all the support on the project already. It's been amazing to see.
Mate, Southpoint is one of those labels. I mean, I was saying to you earlier, I think all through the year, I don't think there's been a week when I've gone into my promo inbox and not seen a brand new Southpoint release.
Yeah, you know what? This year for us has very much been about it's been about upping the quantity because we're always very happy with the quality of what we release. We're quite strict on that. It's a very kind of intense process a lot of the time to get the quality to where we need it. But this year it was about just like upping the amount we were releasing across the different series that we do. And yeah, that's kind of culminated in this 10 years of Southpoint celebration with X. So
absolutely. So Southpoint X, it came out last week Friday, I believe.
Yes, and I'll be honest, we were blown away by the support from yourself, just in general. It's a release for us that I feel very much represents a combination of the now and the future. We've been doing this 10 years, which has absolutely flown by, myself and Josh, and it's been a real kind of roller coaster of sound, and finding that like special place where we sit in that. We try to be quite boundary pushing in a lot of the stuff we do. A lot of the time what we'll say to artists is we don't want to hear your impersonation of someone else. We want to hear the future you. A lot of the time is something we say. And we like to use the word pace changers. That's the sort of definition, I suppose, of the types of tracks we like to release. The ones that DJs will play in the dance to change the pace of what's going on.
And this is exactly what I mean. When you talk to someone who's passionate about projects, right, it just comes through. And, you know, for a label, it's so important to be consistent. Is that like one of the most important things for you guys, is the consistency? You, like I say, you're prolifically releasing, you know, new music.
Yeah, definitely. Like, and again, we've worked with a lot of artists over the years. We've kind of been there for different parts of people's journeys. Some who we're not releasing with anymore, some who we're now just starting to get that process with. And I think we can offer a kind of consistency angle to a lot of artists. I think artists sometimes look at us and go, we come across the right way. We kind of like to do things the right way from a professional underground approach, I think is how we like to do it. And I think artists really do buy into that consistency factor. And a lot of that comes from support from people like yourself as well.
Well, I mean, if it's good music, we're going to support it. It's simple as that. And I think you guys, you never really miss. You know, I think you cover a few different styles within the genre of, you know, within the umbrella, let's say. But you seem to do the speed garage thing and the sort of UKG thing really well. I mean, you've had artists such as Hamdi, Jackham, Bush Baby, you know, creating a platform for these sort of artists that have gone on to do huge things now. It must be a, you know, proud moment when you see these guys going on to do.
Yeah, it's awesome. And like, from me and Josh's perspective, like we started this label, we came together on it because we wanted to revive Brighton's essentially underground nightlife scene. We both kind of grew up in an era where there was 5 or 6 different events every Friday, every Saturday. Yeah. And it came to us kind of turning sort of 2021 and they'd all gone and they'd all dried up and disappeared. So Hamdi is a great example of that. He was he actually moved to Brighton for uni to be a part of Southpoint long term. Bush Baby as well. He's been with us now for 10 plus years. Jackham as well. We released with him under a previous alias as well, and we got to kind of carry that journey on. But seeing the levels that so many of those people that have been involved, we called it the Southpoint family for a long time. The familiar, some people would say. And that community aspect is so important to us. That's always been at the core, I think, of what we do.
I mean, EZ just recently, you know, last week got on record and said that he sees 2025 as the year that UK Garage went global. Would you agree with that?
100%. I mean, you just have to scroll. I always say look at New Music Friday. It's a kind of quite a pop central thing to look at, but the fact there's 6 or 7 big garage tunes in there every week now, you can look through the feeds on an Insta feed, for instance, and when you're in the space, you get a lot of the clips of live shows coming up, and it's the big garage names now that are doing those shows rather than kind of other electronic genres. It's garage shows every time.
We're definitely seeing some artists get their flowers, get some awards. We're seeing 100%. It's brilliant. It's brilliant times. What advice would you give to anyone who's listening to this now? There's a lot of producers that lock into the show. Anyone who's got a catalogue of music that they're thinking, you know, I want to start a label, or I've got a collective of friends, we're all making music. What would be your, you know, the key takeaway for someone like that? What would you say over 10 years of your knowledge in this industry, what would you say is probably the most important thing they should think of or consider?
There's a bit of advice that I always try to give, and there's two artists that I'm heavily inspired by, which is Red Light and Disclosure. And the way I describe it is whatever track Disclosure or Red Light release, you can tell it's a Red Light tune or a Disclosure tune.
Right.
And it's about finding those drums that are your drums, finding those synths that are your synths. We're seeing it a lot with Bush Baby's sound at the moment. He's got his sound plumbed in. You can tell a Bush Baby tune from a mile away.
Yeah.
Same with Hamdi. Obviously, we're not releasing as much with him, but you can tell that type of thing. And I think the level up from being a kind of electronic artist, playing the circuit, playing certain events, you look at all the sort of top names, you can tell it's one of their tunes from a mile away.
So take inspiration from what's going on out there, but make sure that you've got your own slant on
make
things.
it yours, you know, make it yours, and don't look to replicate what's happening now, because by the time that tune comes out, that sound's gone.
Absolutely.
And it's about finding your avenue. Find that, I'm going to try this thing, this approach. That would be my recommendation for sure.
That is great advice. And in terms of like artists, you know, finding new artists, I'm imagining now it's a time where they find you rather than you finding them.
It's a combination of both. Like I try to keep my ear to the ground as much as possible. And if I come across a release that a great example of that is Thirdsy, for instance, who's on Southpoint Presents X. We had a release with him earlier this year. I heard an EP from him, and I was blown away by it, and within like 5 minutes of hearing it, I found him and went, look, we want to release with you because your sound is exactly what I'm looking for. So a lot of the time it is people coming in, and that tends to be the more kind of prologue releases where we're kind of giving people that first single platform.
Yep.
And I think now we love to have a kind of balance, I suppose, of kind of bringing new people in, but also bringing people kind of back who we've released with in the past. There's a number of people on Presents, for instance, that we haven't released with in a little while, but they're perfect fits for the sound we're going for. So yeah, a lot of it is incoming. But again, we've released with over, I think, 80 different artists over the last 10 years. So there's a lot.
So I know that you got a busy year planned in for next year, and you know, we just played a few tracks from Southpoint Presents X, amazing album. It's out now. You're in tonight to do the new wave mix for us.
Yeah.
And I've had a peek at the track list, and there is it's just all tracks that I don't know, which is crazy. So I'm taking it you have so much new music for next year, right?
Yeah. Well, again, with the label, we try to be as consistent as possible. We're currently looking at kind of Q3 releases at the moment, and everything else is plumbed up. Like we love to have sort of 6 or 7 things going on a month. We like to keep the label busy across the different avenues. And yeah, there's some really nice kind of focus points for certain artists next year that are looking really exciting. And again, like we're super inspired by kind of original dubplate culture, you know, that idea of having those specials that no one else has. I remember growing up, you used to kind of get mixes on platforms and it'd be unreleased.
Yeah.
And I'd love to kind of dig through and go, oh, where's that going to come out? And we love working ahead so that we have that catalogue to work with.
Well, I think you're definitely achieving massive things for the scene, for the community. So thank you for the output more than anything. Thanks for all the promos. Looking forward to the mix. Can't wait for you to get into it. We'll be back after this. KXVU is going in the mix with a Southpoint Presents mix featuring loads of new tracks you haven't heard. So all the ID hunters, this is your time. Get your pen and paper ready. We'll be back after this.